Welcome to our 5 on 5. Congressman Greg Walden joining us. Congressman, great to see you.
Good to be with you.
All right, so tell us, Congressman, the House adjourned at its earliest date before an election with so much needing to be done. Yeah. Why is this happening?
Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, you had the political convention coming. The Democrat convention was in September. And then the way the Jewish holidays fell, it really restricted how many days were available in September to get work done. And let's be serious, in a presidential year, the odds of us actually getting anything meaningful done in the silly season was pretty limited too. So at some point, you're better just to cut your losses, stop the theatrics, and go home and do the campaign piece you're supposed to do, and then come back. And when we come back, we've got major work that needs to be done. And hopefully by then, we'll be able to get these issues resolved.
Yeah, a lot of that major work, spending bills. Right. Should people be confident that they're going to see these two sides work together on this?
Well, at some point we have to, and we have on certain big issues throughout the last couple of years. We've reauthorized the transportation bill for several years. We've done the FAA reauthorization for aircraft. I mean, we've got a continuing resolution to fund the government through March. The House has passed a budget, Senate hasn't. We've passed appropriation bills. Senate says they won't take them up. We got to work this thing out. The adults have got to be in the room and say, look, the country comes first. We've got to resolve these issues. We got this fiscal cliff that's looming. We've got these unacceptable cuts that are sort of mindless through sequestration proposed on defense and non-defense. The House has passed an alternative to that. Same amount of reduction in spending, just done more thoughtfully. It's over in the Senate. So we're teed up to go get these things done after the election.
What are you doing to foster bipartisanship in the House?
You know, I do a lot of work in terms of what I have control over. So I chair the Subcommittee on Communications and Technology. We've passed major spectrum legislation on a bipartisan basis. I appoint work groups within my subcommittee that are equally divided between Republicans and Democrats, and I have a Republican and Democrat co-chair them. We had a work group that looked at cybersecurity. I have a work group right now that's focused in on federal spectrum to see what we could make available for more broadband deployment. We're going to do another one on some other issues that I'll announce later. I find it's a way to get Republicans and Democrats, especially on these telecommunications issues, to actually sit down, get their staffs involved, and focus on the issue, not on each other, and not on the label that comes after their name. And it's really been, I think, productive, and I think helps foster a different attitude about how you can legislate, because you begin to focus on solutions and problems, not on party labels.
Sure. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk about the presidential election. Sure. When we come back, stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. We're going to be here with Congressman Greg Walden. Congressman, Oregon is #1 in the nation in food stamps. The GOP and presidential candidate Mitt Romney seem to want to cut that program severely. Is there anything you want to say to our
Well, sure. First of all, in the last 4 years, spending on food stamps has gone up 270%. And all the House is talking about is not too dissimilar from what the Senate's talking about. They also are trying to rein in the spending a bit, is to make sure that those who are eligible are actually the ones getting the benefits. So if you're eligible, you should get them. What's happened is the way the system's been manipulated, they haven't really dealt with eligibility issues appropriately. And so in a bipartisan vote in the House, in the committee at least, they said, no, there's a way to ratchet this back down to something that's affordable. But the reason a lot of people are on food stamps is they're struggling. This economy stinks. We've got 43 months in a row of unemployment over 8%. You got 20-some million Americans that are looking for a job and can't find it. You got fewer people in the workforce today than when Jimmy Carter left office. What is that, 32 years ago? I mean, this economy is not recovering. And the policies that have been put through by this administration, in my opinion, haven't worked. They've tried. It hasn't worked. We have to try something different. And I think that's what you're going to see this election really turn on, is a choice of do you want to keep doing the same prescription, or do you want to try something different? And I think it's time to try something different myself.
And what did you think about Governor Romney's comments regarding people on assistance, more specifically the 47% he intimated that he doesn't really care
I know
about?
A lot of Oregonians who don't pay federal income tax. It's not because they don't want to earn more and pay tax. Not that anybody wants to pay tax, but some people claim they do. But it's because they're not getting paid enough. And so what we need to do is grow the economy and the opportunities for people to move up that ladder and earn more and provide for their families. You know, they're just trying to make ends meet. And so I think the real issue here is how do you expand this economy? How do you get more people in it? How do you get the wages up because you're being more productive? In our case, I put a lot of work into trying to change federal law so we can get out and manage our forests. Those were really high-paying, good jobs when they were here. When people could leave high school and go to work in a mill and go out and work in the woods, those were good-paying jobs. And there's room to restore some of those if we can get management of our federal forests back to a common sense level. And so I think in the tech world, well, you know, I've worked on the spectrum legislation, which could, coupled with other things, free up hundreds of thousands of jobs in innovation and technology. We're seeing these data centers come into our district in Prineville and the Dalles and elsewhere. Those are construction jobs, and they can grow tech jobs out of that. We've got 50,000 Oregonians in the tech sector today. We could have a lot more. But you talk to people working in the building trades, craftsmen and women, you know, they're facing 30, 40, 50% unemployment. This economy needs a lot of help.
40 some odd days till the election. Yeah. A lot of the polling shows that Governor Romney trailing now in many of those key Florida, Iowa, Ohio type states. He can do it, you believe?
I think so. Look, these polls are going to go up and they're going to go down. I mean, that's the history of polling. If you go back to 1980, Craig, the Governor Reagan was down 4 points in the Gallup poll nationwide in mid-September, and he was down 8 points to Jimmy Carter in October. And then it all changed. Look, voters are, you know, they're busy getting their kids back into school. They're dealing with all these other issues in their world. And I think they begin to really focus when those debates occur. And that's a seminal moment. And then it'll be up to the candidates, Governor Romney, Congressman Ryan, the president and the vice president. They're going to make their case. And I think that's when voters really begin to lock in and go, okay, which is it going to be?
Well, we got about a week. Should be exciting.
Yeah, they're going to start in a week.
Thank you very much.
Good to be with you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.